Did you know that understanding other people's thoughts can be achieved through 3 simple strategies? Let's explore these strategies and how to apply the skills necessary to navigate any circumstance. As interpreting thoughts becomes significantly simplified, consider a tale with a Stoic theme that illustrates the art of deciphering other people's thoughts. The story unfolds in an ancient village where 2 brothers reside. The elder brother is blind, spending most of his time at home, while the younger one is engrossed in farming. They frequently discover their fields ravaged by wild animals, causing concern for the younger brother. In an attempt to find a solution, the younger brother devised a plan. He thought, why not seek the assistance of my blind brother in scaring away animals from the field? The blind brother could be positioned amidst the crops, ready to warn upon hearing any suspicious sounds, providing a protective presence. After careful consideration, the younger brother built a small hut in the field and explained the plan to his elder brother. The blind brother agreed, and his role was to shout and scare away animals whenever he heard a noise, thereby safeguarding the harvest. This arrangement persisted for several days until a group of deer swiftly crossed the field, damaging a part of the fence before disappearing. Shortly after, the king, pursuing the deer, approached the blind brother and inquired if he had seen a deer passing by. The blind brother replied, "Your Majesty, I am blind, and I cannot see the deer. However, I can assure you that the creature escaped, and my field is not worth your pursuit. Do not waste your efforts." The king, astonished by the blind brother's statement, questioned him about his knowledge. Despite the doubts arising from the brother's blindness, he confidently expressed an opinion about the importance of the deer. The blind brother explained, "Your Majesty, the creature you are pursuing is actually a pregnant deer. I may not see it, but I am certain. I doubt you have ever pursued a pregnant deer. Therefore, I believe your zeal is in vain and not worth the pursuit." Amazed by the blind brother's insight, the king couldn't comprehend how a blind man could determine the condition of a deer. Driven by the desire to confirm, he ordered his commander to catch the deer alive for further inspection. Acknowledging the blind brother's conviction and urging further research to verify the condition of the deer, the commander received the orders and returned to carry out the king's instructions. He confirmed to the king that his brother was indeed blind and that the deer was truly pregnant. The king, filled with amazement, struggled to comprehend how a blind man could possess knowledge about the pregnancy of a deer. He questioned, pondering how the blind man could be so sure. Seeking clarification, the king asked his brother to unveil the secret. The king expressed his doubts, stating, "I can doubt that you are truly blind, but I have come to ask you a question. Are you ready to provide me with a truthful answer?" The blind brother assured the monarch, saying, "Your Majesty, ask anything, and I will answer with full sincerity." The king acknowledged the blind brother's exceptional insight and sought his wisdom on a personal matter, revealing that he suspected his wife of infidelity. Curious, the blind brother asked, "Your Majesty, what prompts such doubts after so many years of union?" However, the king insisted on an answer, threatening the blind brother with execution. Faced with the monarch's ultimatum, the blind brother agreed to answer but proposed a condition. He requested a private moment alone with the queen to discuss the matter. Initially dissatisfied, the king eventually consented, instructing his commander to leave the blind brother alone with the queen in their chamber. Seizing the opportunity, the blind brother expressed his intention to establish physical contact with the queen. The queen, taken aback, resisted vehemently, resulting in a conflict. After the confrontation, the blind brother managed to escape, reappearing before the king to deliver his revelation. He informed the monarch, "Your Majesty, your wife is not faithful." Enraged, the king grabbed his sword and approached the queen, warning that any lie would lead to her execution. Pressed about her loyalty, the queen pleaded for her life but admitted that confirming the truth would not be a relief. The blind brother explained to the king, "Your Majesty, it was very simple. I mentioned to your wife my desire to touch her, and her reaction was so furious that she started attacking me instead of rejecting the proposal. She chose violence over refusing physical contact. Now, tell me, how can a woman be faithful when she reacts like this?" Impressed by the blind brother's insight, the king exclaimed, "Your insight is amazing. Let's continue." The king, seeking more answers, inquired, "If you answer another question correctly, will you be released?" The blind brother replied, "I can dissolve your anxiety, Your Majesty, but I need your promise not to react with anger." However, the king persisted, insisting on a specific answer to determine if he was truly his son's father. The blind brother replied, "Your Majesty, I can reveal your pedigree right now, but first, I need your promise not to react with anger. The king, curious and determined, agreed to the blind brother's condition. The blind brother then revealed, "You are the son of your father, but you are also under the influence of a greedy merchant." The king, surprised by this revelation, turned to his mother and asked her to confirm the truth about his parentage. The queen admitted that he was indeed the son of his father, but acknowledged the influence of a greedy merchant. Relieved by the truth, the king returned to the blind brother, questioning how he knew about the influence of the greedy merchant. The blind brother explained, "Your Majesty, I have answered many of your questions correctly and have observed your tendencies. I concluded this based on your actions and inclinations." The king laughed and acknowledged the blind brother's insights. He inquired about how the blind brother could distinguish between right and wrong without vision. The blind brother shared, "My blindness is congenital. If I had sight, I could easily understand others' thoughts through their bodily movements, eyes, lips, and gestures. Being blind, I perceive through actions to understand what's going on in a person's mind." When the king asked if he could also understand others' thoughts, the blind brother assured him, saying, "Without a doubt, you can distinguish between other people's thoughts, but you must work on calming your mind and focusing on the present." The blind brother then promised to demonstrate 3 simple and accessible methods to achieve this. Before delving into the techniques, he humorously added, "Like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this content." The blind brother continued, "Your Majesty, the second technique involves observing non-verbal cues. The language of the body, including gestures, can convey much without words, creating a secret language that expresses desires and feelings. For instance, gestural bands with fingers or the repeating sound of tapping can indicate boredom, haste, or a desire to end a conversation, recalling an encounter." The blind brother shared an experience when someone rapidly tapped their fingers, revealing a lack of interest or concern. On the contrary, a person who remains motionless and adopts a relaxed position demonstrates attention and sincere interest, signaling a desire to listen more. The blind brother remembered how his insightful teacher often took such a pose, calm yet leaning in with interest, showing a desire to delve deeper into discussions. People who constantly manipulate their faces during a conversation may offer clues about their thoughts, such as anxiety and tension. Hand movements can also reveal much. For instance, quickly touching the nose might suggest dishonesty or a lack of truthfulness. Paying attention to how individuals react to words can aid in interpreting their thoughts. However, the blind brother emphasized that before continuing, it's crucial to focus attention on the present. This is the only way to observe these behaviors, test them, and understand what is happening in another person's mind. Staying stuck or worrying about the future makes it impossible to read another person's body language and understand their thoughts. "Now, Your Majesty, let's move on to the third technique," the blind brother said. "Before I reveal it to you, concentrate your mind. We can understand the thoughts of others, especially when they are also focused on the present. What's important now is to transfer our minds to the present to catch their thoughts." Continuing with the third technique, the blind brother said, "O King, to understand someone's thoughts, observe their voice. Voice can reveal a lot about what a person thinks and feels. Pay attention to the tone, playfulness, and excitement in someone's voice. They can provide insights into their emotions and thoughts." The blind brother continued, "Those who speak slowly and relaxed are likely calm and collected. Paying attention to the tone of voice is crucial. A loud and shrill tone may express anger or disappointment, while a soft and calm tone implies peace and relaxation. Recall moments when you spoke to someone claiming to be happy. If the voice was direct, it raised doubts about their true joy. Voice can also convey emotions, such as sighs, cries, or sincere laughter. By observing how individuals articulate words and use tone, you can easily understand their thoughts and feelings. That's all, Your Majesty. These are the 3 techniques I shared today. Watch the eyes, body language, and voice of a person. Focus on these 3 aspects, and you can easily glean insights. However, remember that first, you must focus your mind. This is the only way you can observe, interpret, and perceive what is happening in the mind of another person. By doing so, you can understand their thoughts and enrich their existence. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope that these pieces of advice will be valuable to you. Consider sharing it with those who need to see it. Wisdom must be shared to bloom. Comment if you resonate, and I appreciate that you read to the end. Now, choose the path of Stoicism that suits you best, either to the right or left. You have to stoically videos you'll like. See you later next time.